So I've been on a fitness journey lately. Summer's coming up. I'm trying to get lean, for the first time ever. I want to get some six-pack abs. And it's no question about it that six-pack abs are made in the kitchen. And what happened to me the other day highlights one of the most important things about life in general that we don't even realize, but they have such big implications in life that we don't even realize. But if we continue repeating these patterns, right, you're really doing a disservice to yourself. And it's so funny because it's a funny story about fitness that highlighted this for me. So every Sunday I fast for 36 hours. So on this Sunday, right, I just really wanted some jollof rice. I really wanted some jollof rice, bro. I ain't never gonna lie to you. Bro, like the way I was like fantasizing about it, thinking, oh my God, that jollof rice is so good. That jollof rice will be amazing. This is me during a mid-fast, right? And just pay attention to this because it's gonna be so important, right? So this is me mid-fast thinking, I just want some jollof rice. Start thinking about the flavors, For those that have had jollof rice, you know what I mean. If jollof rice is good, especially the one that's near me, it's really good. It's like 10-minute drive from me, so it's not even that far. So I'm there thinking, okay, I really want this jollof rice, but there's this bigger goal that I have within myself, that I've set for myself, which is I want to, get lean, get six-pack, summer's coming up, I want to look good. I've always wanted to be, like near 10% body fat anyways, between 10 and 11% body fat. I have this big goal that I've set for myself, I've always wanted to achieve, right? And I have this temporary need for jollof rice. I have this temporary craving for jollof rice. And if I have this jollof rice, that means I'm gonna have to break my fast, which I'm already on. And this fast is a sign of commitment to my goal, which is wanting to get lean, right? And what happened was so funny is because the more I thought about it, the more I thought about breaking my fast, the more I thought about shying away from my path of getting towards my goal, right? Because me having jollof rice is not going to help me get close to my goal, plain and simple, right? But the more I thought about it, the more I started to negotiate with myself, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, no one knows that I'm on this journey of trying to get lean, right? No one knows that I'm on this journey of, trying to get six-pack by the summer. So if I break my fast right now, no one's going to know. So does it really matter? Does it really count? No one's going to know. So I can just do it. And the more I started negotiating with myself that way, the more I found myself I was so close to breaking it. And it just, in that moment, I realized that it's not that no one is listening or no one's going to know, but the most important person who could be listening and who could be knowing is you. Think about how many times you've told yourself that you're going to do something and you haven't done it and you've made an excuse for yourself. You told yourself you're going to do something in private, but then because no one's listening or no one heard you, or there was no that sign of big accountability, right? You decided not to do it. You decided to be lazy in pursuit of that thing. You haven't realized about how many times you've trained your brain to not believe in itself. You've trained you to not believe in you, because think about it. If you're listening to yourself and you tell yourself you're going to do something, and then every time you tell yourself you're going to do something, you don't do it, what are you telling? What signals are you sending to the brain? What signals are you sending to you? You're telling yourself that you're an unserious person. And I realize it's like, how many times have I trained myself to not believe in myself? And by virtue of not believing in myself, every time I've gone on to wanting to do something else, the immediate response and the immediate reaction is doubt within myself, because I've trained myself to be this way. So it could be a small thing about, okay, having jollof rice in it, but the bigger implications of it is that I'm training my brain to doubt itself from the get-go. So then that's why, I find myself having difficulties executing on other things from the jump, because it's this train and there's this pattern of doubt I've instilled within myself over different scenarios where I've told myself I'm going to do something in silence and in private, but I just haven't gone through and done it. So the implications of that were far bigger than I ever thought of. And when I started realizing that, I realized that everything matters. Like everything, if you tell yourself you're going to do something, do it, because you're listening. The most important person, which is you, is listening to that conversation. You're listening in on yourself. So if you don't do it, I promise you, and I know some of you guys have realized that there's this self-doubt belief, and self-doubt only leads to negative mindset. And the negative mindset is going to lead, to procrastination. The more you procrastinate, the more you're not going to do something. The more you're not going to do something, the more you likely won't do it, and the more likely you probably won't reach the success that you want to reach. So everything matters. So when you set goals for yourself, really, I think it's important that we try our best to really achieve and try our best to follow through, even when we don't feel like following through on them, because we're paying attention to ourselves. The most important person is paying attention, which is you. And it's such an overlooked thing, and it's such something that is so overlooked, but it has far bigger consequences than we can imagine, because it's you at the end of the day. And if you don't believe in yourself, how can you ever, raise the willpower enough to follow through or something and stick to it consistent when you've consistently told yourself that you're going to do things and not do them? You're literally training your brain to be inconsistent. You're literally training yourself to be inconsistent. So I know it was a funny thing about me wanting jollof rice. I didn't end up going to the jollof rice wedding because I had this big realization, right? But it just made me realize in that moment that we're listening in on ourselves. We are the biggest impact that we can have on ourselves, outside of God, of course, right? But we are the biggest impact that we can have on us. And if we train ourselves to not believe in ourselves, what chance do we really have? So you might not think that no one is listening, but just remember, when you next tell yourself you're going to do something, you think that no one's listening, you're listening.